Vibes may be PVM live talk show. I am one half of your host, gracious and ever most benevolent, Jetty H. You know what I'm saying? Thank you for being here with us on this wonderful Wednesday evening. How y'all living? How y'all doing? What's that? Miss Two Speaks? How you doing, love? Von Brown, what's going on with you, King? How y'all doing? How y'all living? I hope y'all having yourselves a wonderful evening. I hope y'all staying hydrated. You know what I mean? It hasn't been all crazy hot these last couple of days, but listen, we in summertime now, so everybody, I want y'all to stay cool, stay hydrated, make sure that y'all taking care of yourselves and everything. Y'all out here, y'all grooving, y'all smooth, you know what I'm saying? Tonight, we're going to be talking about Cast Thee From Me. There's a passage in the word that talks about if your right eye or if your left eye causes you to sin, you should pluck it and cast it from you, because it's best that that portion of your being is what is consumed in flames than for the entire portion of your being consumed in flames. So with that, the metaphor connects to loved ones, family, friends, or even the concept of loyalty and how far we're willing to go before we realize, hey, there has to be a transformation that takes place before, everything that people were building gets burnt into flames, or even the things that you're doing for yourself as far as your self-care, as far as things that you're working on for yourself and the things that the people that you love is just all for nothing, you know what I'm saying? But before we bring everybody else up in this motherfucker, we're going to put up the topic. We're going to send a couple of invites, and we're going to wait for our brother Dash to jump up on this motherfucker too. You dig? Fly My Catering, that's Dash's IG. As far as him with the smoothies, as far as him with the dinners, with the breakfast, with the lunches, y'all make sure that y'all follow Fly Him Out Catering. Make sure y'all get familiar with the smoothies. Make sure y'all get familiar with Dante Dash. Hit him up. Get your hands on some of these smoothies, especially in the hot days to come. You know what I mean? I guarantee you it's going to be something that's going to help to put you up on the right groove. Whether you're already on the right groove or your groove could just use a little bit more elevation. You dig? So, Von Brown said, be loyal to yourself and your family, and blood don't make you family. That's a fact. That's a super fact. You know what I mean? But there's also principles and also other things that tie into what keeps you sustained as family. You know what I'm saying? So even if it's not blood that keeps you family, you know what I'm saying? It's not like you just wear this metal and all of a sudden you inside the house and you ain't got to pay rent. You know what I'm saying? There's still some things that still constitute you to being able to stay within the confines or even in the atmosphere of what constitutes family. You know what I mean? We're going to get into all of that. Promise. You know what I mean? Who made that hat? Oh, listen. Soon. That's all I'm going to say. It ain't yet, but soon. The family's talented. You know what I'm saying? The family's talented. We're going to have dad hats available real soon. But for now, we're going to keep it on the wraps for now. You know what I'm saying? So, we're going to call this Cast Thee From Me. I'm not too sure what is actually called up on a PVM joint, but I'm pretty sure the words cast and thee were up in that joint, so it's still on the same groove, you know what I'm saying? Pin the comment. Von Brown said, do your thing tonight, about to head out. Much love, bro. Appreciate you for real, you know what I'm saying? And now, without further ado.
Yo, how you feeling?
Shit, man. I'm chilling, I'm grooving, I'm killing it. Yeah, man.
No, I said that's good to hear.
Word up. What's going on with you, man? How you living?
Oh, I'm chilling. It's a good day, Another episode, happy to be alive. All blessings over here. Not too many complaints, just another day in the life. So, you want to get all up into it? You want to get into the topic? Just jump straight into things?
Of course. So, a lot of
Hold on, you going in and out on me.
all right, so a lot of highways, grooveways, and byways and smooth ways that led to the periphery of this topic or whatnot. But one of the mainstays that led to the core and the nucleus of this topic was watching this movie that's on Netflix. For those who don't know, for those who haven't watched, there's a movie called The Fighter. It's a fly movie with Christian Bale and with Marty Mark from Boys on the New Boys in the Block. I forgot his name. Mark Wahlberg. There you go.
Yeah, Mark Wahlberg.
Mark Wahlberg's up in that joint. You know what I'm saying? It's a dope movie. That African Butterfly. What's going on with you, love? And it's basically about, you know what I mean, two talented young brothers. They're both in the same industry. They both do the same thing. They both known for different things regarding them being in the industry. They're both boxers. One is a real heavy boxer. He knows how to take the hits. He knows how to, you know what I mean, take everything that come with it. He gonna land a few that's gonna drop you. And the other one, he's like real quick, real nimble. So, you know, the one brother, he's known for knocking out or knocking down a real famous and prolific boxer, but that's all the claim to fame that he got. So the other brother, he's coming up, you know what I mean? He's doing this thing. He's trying to work things by the book, make sure that he connects himself with the family, you know what I mean? He don't want to be disloyal. He knows that, you know what I'm saying? He loves his brother, a whole bunch of shit, but brother just don't get it. His brother keeps fucking up time and time again. And the fuck ups even get to the point that the younger brother got his head fucked up by the cops. And if you a boxer, that's a livelihood, you know what I'm saying? So it got me thinking, I'm like, you know what? It would be a great conversation to have as far as where's the line with loyalty? Where's the line with family? Where's the line with accountability before it makes sense to just, you know, cover your own ass before you find yourself in the pits of damnation, so to speak. But with that being said, man, how do you feel about that?
Oh, so first, good find on the movie. Like that was a good movie. Like, cause honestly, I seen the previews before, like long ago, but I really didn't really pay attention at the moment. Well, at the time, I didn't really pay too much attention to it, and I kind of just pushed it along. But it was an undercover joke, cause like while I was watching the movie, I was like, okay, Juddy, found a nice little gem in the diamond in the rough with this movie.
Yeah,
But
it's a dope one. It's a dope one.
oh yeah, like there's a lot of lessons up in here. So, but to answer your question, as far as like where would I draw that line, I would draw it, before it really endangers me, like, and I say that because I've been someone who was like the younger brother, like who had that line crossed a couple times, and had to kind of learn through experience, when to kind of put up those boundaries and be like, you know what, enough is enough. Like I got to do what's best for me, even if it isn't what's best for my loved ones. And like the internal battle he had with himself when he was like kind of wrestling, like his decision, like should I kind of make this decision or not? Like I'm gonna go back to that scene where he was like with his girlfriend and it was like it was having a conference meeting with his mom, his brother, his sisters, his father, and everybody. And at the moment, his girlfriend was answering for him because he couldn't articulate what he was feeling. But like it was all his emotions. She just was the voice box for him and everything. And I felt that pain for him, like because I've been there before, where it's just like I know what I want to say, I know how I'm feeling. It's just how do I express that to my loved ones without them taking it the wrong way or taking it or making it deeper than it actually is for me. And not just seeing it for what the moment is. So, how about you? Where's that line?
So for real, this topic has really close to home. Most especially, it's beyond the movie. Like I said, there's a couple of core elements in life that's led to this topic being something that I wanted to talk about today. So I visited my cousin in Newark this weekend that just passed. I haven't seen him in over 10 years. I went to go visit him, see how he's doing, you know what I mean? He's in rehab and he's not in the greatest of shapes, you know what I'm saying? And it put things into a real life perspective. It was sobering. It was extremely sobering. You know what I mean? I wasn't too right for like a couple of days afterwards or whatnot. Grateful still because he still has his spirit intact. But just knowing what I know about my cousin and then seeing him in that position, and even like conversations that I done had with him regarding, you know what I mean, when he's like, "Yo, man, when you make it, I can't wait. I'm just gonna come along for the ride." And I'm like, "Nah, nigga, you gonna work. Like, I ain't got no time for just niggas gonna be around just coming. You gonna work, dog. Like, he's an artist too." So even putting things in the perspective where I had to have a real man-to-man, heart-to-heart conversation with him because I don't know when the next time I'm gonna see him. You know what I'm saying? I had to real life put things into perspective for him to understand that, look, I love you, but where I'm about to walk, my nigga, I don't have shoulder room for me to be carrying niggas. And it's not even something that, you know what I mean, he can really help per se, but it's not anything at the same time that he's helping to allow for healing to move in such a way that people can look and say, yeah, he's doing something. He's helping to transform it. You know what I mean? We're talking about his diet. We're talking about where he was, why he's there, and things of that nature. It's like, bruh, it gets to a certain point where people want to talk, and they're going to talk, and they're going to talk, and we ain't going to have that much time to continue to talk because we got to walk, and we got to walk, and we got to walk. So, however my cousin may feel, if he doesn't see me, I'm going to have to live with it. But I'm good with living with whatever that reality is going to be because I've always kept it 100 as far as what I believe he should be, regardless of his situation. So it's really bittersweet. It's really bittersweet, and it ain't for the faint of heart neither. It ain't for the faint of heart because I know a lot of people love keeping people around them as whatever certifications to the shit that they need self assurance about regarding themselves. But when you get to a certain level, when you ascend to a certain level of business acumen, when you ascend to a certain level of seriousness in your life, you realize that a lot of people that are around you, if they really ain't on that same frequency, they just there to drain you. There ain't no reason to have them around, even if it's for play and jokes. That shit is a waste of fucking time.
No, everything you're saying is so true and so real. But and as you're saying there, a few things are jumping to mind, like catchphrases and sayings that I heard from like my OGs throughout the years. You know, kind of like telling me pretty much what you're articulating right now. You know, and as you said, like at some point you do have to walk, and it becomes a burden to you. You know, like because honestly at a certain point, you know, like I can be there for you as much as I want to. I can want the best for you as much as I want to, but you you can only drag a horse to water. You can't make it drink the water, you know. And I can provide you all these opportunities, or at least put you around opportunities. But it's up to you to put the work in and make sure that you're here doing something. Because, like you said, everybody has a job to do, and after a while, you know, like it's always that reward reward risk thing factor that goes into things like how much are you a liability as opposed to an asset, you know. And if you're more of a liability more times than not, now I gotta let you go, like regardless of who you are, because you're draining on me and what my journey is, you know. And as we get older, like it's this one saying that I remember my grandpa telling me when I was like a teenager, and he used to tell me all the time when I had like a bunch of friends, and I'd be like, "Yeah, I got this friend, this that friend," and he was like, "You really don't." He was like, "But as you get older, you'll see which friends are your friends and which ones are just there." You know, he was like, "Some
Mm-hmm.
people are just needed to help you as you ascend to different stages of your life." You know, but once you reach the stage that you're supposed to be on, or at least where you're supposed to maintain the majority of your time, you know, you'll notice there's only like one, two, or three people there that's around consistently. You know, that's who your family is. That's who your circle is. That's who you tend to rely on, and kind of see who you truly are. You know, like there'll be reflections of either what you are and what you want to be. You know, in a way.
Yeah, that's a fact. I do also want to reemphasize something too, because I know that I said that it's only so much talking that somebody can talk before it's walk time or whatnot. I don't want people to confuse what I mean by it's walk time as if it's like, all right, now I'm going to walk away. No, I was watching Matt Hoffa's, I forgot what it's called, but he got a podcast. He was talking to Philadelphia's Dutchy man, and they said something about the machine that's really poignant. It's really simple. The machine keeps going. The machine is going. You know what I mean? So it's not like after a certain point I start walking. No, the walk has already happened. This shit's been going on. So now it's like if you're not on the same page as the machine, you're expecting the machine to stop for you. And it's like, why do you want several workers who's putting in their blood, sweat, and tears to stop this machine for you? What can you contribute as far as the value towards this machine to make up for lost time and to get us somewhere where it's not just to make up for lost time, because that's just the negative to the zero. We have to get from negative to zero and then get from zero to positive. So now we're doing double work to get to where we would be if we were just regularly pushing. That African butterfly said you can't want something for someone more than they wanted it for themselves, or their lack of an action will drain you. That's a fact. That's a super fact.
Yeah, and like you kind of got to hold people accountable too, like what they're supposed to be in your life. Like that was another thing. Like the movie was kind of showing me too. Like, not only wasn't he holding Mark Wahlberg, the main character of this film, not only wasn't holding himself accountable, but he wasn't holding those around him accountable for what they need to do to like help him ascend. Like if you got people in place, like you got to kind of hold their feet to the fire, that they're holding your feet to the fire as well. Like it's like almost still sharpening steel. Like me and you, we hold each other to a certain standard. Like I expect you to be ready, to be prepared for the show. Like you expect the same from me. Like it's some things that don't even need to go without said, but it was like things being lacked on his end where he wasn't addressing out of like loyalty to that individual, loyalty to whatever positions they establish, instead of just saying, what, this is affecting me. Like I gotta become captain of my ship and kind of navigate this boat now. Like I see things falling off course. It's up to me to will it back on course. And I think that was just like a lesson to kind of remind you, like as a man, like sometimes even if it's to the detriment of those around you, you kind of just got to do what's best for you. Like you'll know what's right for you. Like in that moment, he had that internal battle where he couldn't. He felt what was right for him. He knew what was right for him, but he just wouldn't listen to his gut and follow through with it. And I was just like, that was just an important message that stood out to me. Like, follow your gut, like whatever it is, and just be okay with where that lands you. Like, good, wrong, or indifferent. Like, just kind of just like if that's where your gut is leading you, it's leading you there for a reason. Follow your natural instincts because your instincts are just a product of what you've been around, what you've been taught. So trust them.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. There's this thing that people be talking about. I be seeing it every once in a while on social medias, and I know this is a real life conversation too. I always been confused about this shit. Motherfuckers would be like, yo, loyalty versus respect, which one would you want? And there be so many people be like, loyalty, loyalty, loyalty. And I've really come to a point where I really don't give a fuck about loyalty. I take respect over loyalty because a motherfucker will go to the ends trying to prove something off of loyalty. Don't mean that motherfucker really dead for the reason he's going to be there. Like, if I'm loyal to myself, and I'm fucking with somebody who's loyal to themselves, we always gonna be on the same type time. I don't need nobody to be loyal to me. I don't need nobody to be loyal to me. Cause that shit don't make no fucking sense. I'm transforming every day. The fuck you gonna be loyal to? You don't even know how to talk to me day to day and shit like that. If I'm evolving in such a way that I'm learning different things, I'm on to new things. I'm entering rooms that not everybody can enter. The fuck is you loyal for? What the fuck is you loyal to? In that case, you just a blind soldier. You know what I'm saying? I'd rather you just respect me and I respect you because no matter where we evolve, we still gonna always stand on that mutual grounds of respect. So it don't matter if you here, I'm here, or you here, I'm here. It don't matter. I respect you. You respect me. You could be the highest of the mountains. You still be able to look down and see me. You acknowledge me on that type time. I'm important to you. We don't need to be loyal. You know what loyalty do? Loyalty keep motherfuckers at the base of the mountain and nobody ascends. I don't need no fucking loyalty.
I agree with that. I mean, it depends on like how deep you're looking into. See, I don't see like loyalty being like, all right. So the way I see it, like if you're being loyal to yourself, or you're even being loyal to another person, part of being loyal to them is being loyal to yourself. The way I internalize it. Because I can only do for you if I do for me to begin with. Like, so if I'm not even in a good space or like in a position to help, how can I really be of use to you? So I can't be all but so loyal if I'm not even loyal to myself to make sure I'm in a good space to be where I'm at. I'm just, whatever. The whole loyalty respect thing kind of you know what? I hate that debate, and I always hear like every time I'm like listening to Drink Champs, and I always get like a different reasoning, but I always come to this conclusion of like you need both. You know, like you can't really have one without the other. Like yeah, I can respect you, but like that respect only gonna goes some all but so far. Like I've been respected by people who still crossing me. You know, at the end of the day, because like business is business or whatever is whatever. Like intentions, you know, supersede respect at times. Like you know, and everybody got their fee, you know, or their dollar amount of what they gonna pay for it. I'm over here having technical difficulties. But like even with their loyalty, like as you said, like what are you loyal to? Like are you loyal to me, or are you loyal to the benefits I afford you, or how I treat you, or what you get when you're around me, you know, or the energy you feel when you're around me, you know? So like that's always dicey as well too. It's like two ends of the coin you can kind of look at when discussing to take over, because I'm over here having situations real quick.
I did. Butterfly dropped a couple of comments. She said, "Doesn't respect come with loyalty? Real loyalty. I have people who I respect, but who I don't fuck with. You know what? I feel like loyalty does have some inklings of respect into it, but I look at it like this. You know what I mean? There's respect amongst enemies. Like you can't possibly cross somebody that you respect. Because if you respect somebody, ain't nothing that you scared to tell a motherfucker. You can tell a motherfucker dead in your face. The next opportunity I get, I'm gonna kill you. And that's respect because they didn't have to tell you that shit. So you know what to expect when you see this motherfucker. You know what I mean? You can't cross somebody that you respect. If you
Yeah,
respect,
but
don't mean that it's like, oh, I wish you the best of good days and all this great positive vibes only shit. Nah. Respect just means I'm gonna keep it funky with you, and ain't nothing gonna change about how I feel about you because I acknowledge you in such a way that this is how I'm gonna keep it funky. I want you to know where I stand with you. I want you to know where you stand with me. That's respect. Loyalty is motherfuckers getting fucked in the ass every day based upon them being loyal and shit. And then they still stuck in the same fuck ass situation trying to figure out why they ain't fucking evolving in life. Because they loyal to the fucking wrong causes and shit. This nigga Von Brown stupid. He said never seen Jetty and Math Hoffa at the same place, same time.
I mean, I hear you.
Yeah, we both Brooklyn niggas, so it might be something, you know what I mean?
See, I'm gonna still disagree with that because I do think you can. I do feel like you can respect somebody and still cross them. Like I don't feel like just because you respect them don't mean you won't necessarily cross them. I
Okay.
honestly feel like you more susceptible to probably cross them because you're afforded inside. You're afforded more liberties to cross them because even if it's an enemy, if it's a common respect, like it's also a common, it's also that I don't even know what the proper word for it is, but betrayal is behind there as a source too. Like yeah, I might respect you, but at the same time, like I'm out for me. Like you may know I'm out for me, but I'm not going to necessarily give you a heads up just because you know I'm out for you. And just because I don't give you a heads up doesn't mean I don't respect you. It just means I'm just, not going to share my strategic plan of how I'm going to take you down with you or afford you the opportunity to, be prepared for when I might possibly, initially, whatever, stab you in the back or, cross you or whatever the case may be, I don't think that's like a lack of respect that goes up into that. I mean, like, I don't know what's the proper word for it, but I don't feel like it's like lack of respect. I feel like lack of respect is like I'm, where like, in that same situation, I probably wouldn't even respect you enough to even take you as a threat. I think that'd be more lack of respect, like where I see you and be like, I see him building up his little army or whatever, or I hear what he's saying, but I don't even feel you as much as a threat enough to even take you seriously enough to address it or be prepared for it.
I respect that. I respect that. That African butterfly said, I guess it depends how you look at it, because I'm not loyal to anyone I don't respect. Because why would I be? I feel that. I do. I do. I do. African people, the African butterfly knows this. Liberian people, we got a thing that we can always tell people. It's like, yo, check yourself. You know what I'm saying? Like, pump your brakes. We tell people respect yourself, because if you respect yourself, you know how to further respect other people. So yeah, Liberian people say respect yourself. That means that something's gonna happen if you keep on acting the same way that you acting and shit. Like, that's a warning if you hear a Liberian man say respect yourself, or a Liberian woman say respect yourself. You know what I mean? So I'm definitely on board with the gems in that though. Definitely. Oh yeah, Frankie got a plan. He Liberian too. LIB. What's going on with you, King? Yeah, he know about it. Respect yourself. He know about it.
Yeah, that's in a bit of general census with this. Like respect yourself to know when enough is enough, or when you're not being treated properly, or at least enough and address your loved ones to tell them like, "Yo, this is what I need and require out y'all." Sometimes that conversation is all that's needed, and sometimes for whatever reason, whatever fear that's holding you back from holding that conversation is really the biggest hurdle, and whatever differences you and your family are having. Because I'm gonna use myself as an example. Like when I was referring to myself, where earlier where I said I had to go through similar situations myself, where I had to um, almost feel almost get to the point where I was so frustrated with those around me that they weren't doing what I necessarily needed them to do, that I started lashing out before I fully expressed what I needed out of them. But once I had that conversation, the energy shift and what I needed, happened like that. And it was just as simple as having the conversation to let them know, yo, I do need help, or like this is what's bothering me, and this is what we gotta fix, as opposed to me trying to internalize and just hoping, it would just click. Like naturally they'll notice, because my actions is moving like this, or I'm moving like this, or maybe like you should already know, like, and even in that syndrome, that's expecting too much of them.
Mm. Expectations is another thing. Expectations is a dangerous word. That's a real dangerous word. I've come to not put too many eggs in the basket of expectations, because they lead to disappointment. You know what I'm saying? It's easy. It's easy, especially when you fuck with people. You know what I mean? For you to put expectations on other people, it's easy to do so, especially if like you're talking about teams, or especially if you're talking about understanding contracts and things of that nature. It's easy for you to be like, all right, I have this expectation of you. But once again, you know what I mean? If you don't got this quote unquote expectation of yourself, ain't nobody gonna be able to tell you what to do if you don't want to do it yourself. And if somebody even attempts to, it's like a motherfucker's backpedaling. You know what I'm saying? And I don't have the time for that shit no more, man. I ain't got no time for me to invest in any type of expectations with anybody. Because there's so much that I know that I need to actualize within myself, that if I fuck around and put an inkling of energy into somebody else with that expectation, that shit do not come to fruition, I'm likely to not fuck with you. You know what I'm saying? Because I'm gonna be like, bro, what the fuck are we doing? Or sis, like, come on. Like, we supposed to be on XYZ. Why the fuck are you on CBA? You running up the alphabet. We supposed to be at the end.
I mean, but that's kind of rough right there. You don't put no expectations on nobody.
Nah,
Like,
I can't afford it. I can't afford it. And
like
because I'm human, I can say that at times I find myself stuck in the rut when it comes like, yo, I expect this, I expect that. But I didn't give birth to none of these niggas. I
okay.
didn't give birth to none of y'all. And even if I did, that's a whole different individual. I can't put expectations on. The only person that I can be accountable for is myself.
I mean, it's not being accountable for them, but it's just more so like I feel like it's certain people like you can have expectations for, like, or at least like certain relationship you can have certain expectations out of those relationships, that you expect the people to be held accountable to, that if they don't, like, okay, so I'm gonna say this for example. How about you and your girlfriend? Like, I'm sure like you have like a certain level of expectations you expect her to meet, like just for being your mate, and vice versa, like, or is it
I
no
don't
ex?
see it.
Damn.
This is why I say I don't need it. Because she loves herself. She respects herself. I love me. I respect myself. And because we can look inward into our inner mirror, we have empathy enough to know what resonates with the person that we say we love. So it has nothing to do with expectations. It's more about having such an affluence, such an opulence, such an abundance of what we give, of what we have to give, that we want to give, that we just give. Expectation is an admittance of what you lack. If I expect something from somebody else, I am admitting that I lack that. Because if I have it, what the fuck am I expecting? If I have $1,000 in my pocket and I ain't talked to nobody all day, I wouldn't expect another $1,000 unless I had a verbal contract with somebody who said that they were going to pay me. So ain't no expectations as long as I'm self-sufficient. And if you got two people that are self-sufficient and they on the same time that they love each other, I ain't gotta expect nothing from her. She ain't gotta expect nothing from me. She know the character of my person. I know the character of her person.
I mean, that's what I said. You know, I hear you. Like on a lot of levels with that. It's just I don't know. I don't know. Maybe it's the way I was raised. So like my ideology of the word expectation is a little different. But I don't look at it through that negative connotation of like it's coming from a place of emptiness. Like I just feel like, you know, like when you enter any relationship, there is like an expectation of like. I feel like when you enter a relationship, it's like certain boundaries you already established with who you are and how you take care of yourself. That you know, like with that and you showing who you are, like there is an expectation to the person that you're dealing with to know, like, yo, this is how I carry myself. You see how I carry myself. I'm showing you how I carry myself. So respect me in this manner, and you know, this is how you will deal with me. You know, like you won't degenerate me. Like if I hold myself to a certain standard, you won't be able to come into any room and just like kind of disrespect me, be like, yo, my nigga, like, and just hit me with some street lane. You're gonna have to talk to me correctly, you know, just because of how I carry myself. But I feel like that's my expectation by the way I carry myself. I don't really look at it as like a negative source of like I'm empty, so that's why I expect you to treat me ridiculously. It's just like no, like I expect that because I treat myself with it. You know, I don't know.
This is 444. I don't know why this article said that 444 was Jay-Z's first classic album. I don't agree with that, but that's not
That's reasonable doubt.
the point is, the point is 444 is looked at as Jay-Z's magnum opus for a lot of reasons. And it's because he helped to shed the old young boy stigma and profile, if you will, to adapt and adopt a newfound evolution of self, of man, of artist. He has one line in the beginning song, Fuck Jay-Z, where he's lamenting over cheating on Beyonce. And he says, I told you don't embarrass me instead of be with me. To me, that's the perfect line that shows why expectations shouldn't have any place in a relationship. If you tell another woman, don't embarrass me, you have an expectation of that woman. If you ask a woman to be with me, that's not no expectation. She say, no, what you expecting? You just saying be with me because your heart's talking. You know what I'm saying? But Bronte Hamilton said, preach, it's a deep trust. It is. And it's not easy. Don't get shit twisted just because I'm talking like, I talk like this because it took years of scars, heartaches, pain and shit for me to be able to even see the light. And the light hurts. If you've been under a rock for 20, 30 some odd years and you come out to bright light, nigga, you squinting. You ain't gonna look dead in that sun. That shit gonna hurt. That shit gonna sear your fucking cornea. That shit hurt. And that African butterfly said, but if you come into a relationship whole, like the person for who they are, you should need to have expectations. You already know what it is. So, I mean, if you can elaborate a little bit more on that, we'd love to hear it, though.
Well, me or African butterfly?
Oh, no, that African butterfly as far as her comment. Because I dig what she's saying, but I also, you know what I mean, a little bit more elaboration upon it. I feel like will be a lot fruitful for this exactly this part of the conversation, especially.
Well, yeah, because I do feel like you'll know your mate, like whoever you're dealing with. Because I do feel like before you get serious, you should kind of spend some time really getting to know and investing in who they are as a person, as a whole. But I guess that's where I fall back into the expectations again. Because I'm just like, as I establish my boundaries with you and allow you to get to know who I am as a whole, within getting to know me, you'll know what what I'm going to tolerate and what I won't tolerate in my life. So with that, I guess I internalize that as an expectation for you not to cross those lines, because once you know what not to cross, I expect you not to cross that. But like if you do, I mean everybody is human, so I guess like depending on what it is and how I really feel offended by it, or how I want to proceed with the next step with it, will determine like if we want to have a future from there or not. Like, but more times than not, if you're really someone I really like took the time to really invest like serious time into, I can't see myself just one strike and being done with you. Like you had to do something seriously egregious, like almost like killing my mom or one of my loved ones, for me to just wash my hands with you completely and not at least afford you the opportunity to kind of rectify your mistake or whatever you did or however I felt like you offended me. Because at the end of the day, we are human. Like, and I have myself. I made plenty of mistakes, so I wouldn't want nobody to hold over me the mistakes I made as a reference as to my character. Like I couldn't grow from that situation, or I couldn't evolve from it, or that couldn't be what taught me, or what was the lesson that helped me. Listen.
I dig that. So
I see
that
the
African
comments going
butterfly.
up, but I can't catch them.
Oh no, I got you. That African butterfly said, ooh, ooh, ooh. That African butterfly said you shouldn't need expectations. That's what it was supposed to say. I dig it. We with you. We on the same time. And Bronte Hamilton, pardon me, said, I have found out my red flags and all the green flags. I made my own owner's manual, and I tell people that this is what I'm working on as well. And honestly, it sets the expectations as either elevate with me or there's the door. Fool me once, shame on you. Fool me twice, shame on me.
See, I'm kind of more in agreement with her. You know, like that's kind of where I'm resonating, like, and kind of where I'm trying to project where I'm feeling or how I feel like things should be set up. And even that conversation of when you're like sharing with them, like your red flags, your green flags, the things you will or won't tolerate, like just even in dealing with a person, like just in a regular conversation, like to me, what always stands out is if a person, can remember what I'm telling them. Like if it instantly, drifts out their brain, or like the lack of eye contact isn't there, or I just feel like you really are picking up on what I'm saying. I might even like do something as to like slightly try to trick you into asking you the question like, yo, you remember what I just said? Just kind of see how alert you are in the conversation. And if you aren't even picking up on those, that to me is another red flag, and that to me would do like put the pushing away as far as like, you know what, let me just not even invest this time, right? Because to me, like as I'm building this relationship with you, like I'm taking the time to kind of learn how you tick, how you move, what you won't and won't allow, because like it's certain facets about a person that we don't even know ourselves. Like it's some things that a person can tell about you that you don't necessarily pick up just by you being you, but a person watching you can pick up about yourself. So I'm always mindful of
Oh, man. That African butterfly. Yeah.
Hi, I'm not on camera, and I was gonna type, but honestly, I'm too high right now to type. So I was like, let me just try to vocalize what I wanted to say. Because I feel like I kind of get where Dash is coming from, as far as wanting what you want in a relationship. But I feel like I'm also more on the Jetty side of it, of not having that expectation. Because like if you, this is what I was trying to say, like if you know who you are and you know that person, you already know, like, you know, like, you know what it is, you know what they're going to bring to the table, you should know what their flags are and what yours aren't. So you don't really have, to me, you don't have those expectations in a relationship. Now, when you're going through the dating, like getting to know you period, kind of like, what was her name? Bronte, like what she was saying about knowing her red flags and her green flags. When you're going through the dating period, you kind of have those expectations, but because they're not really expectations, it's just knowing who you are and knowing what you're looking for and what you'll tolerate. You don't get upset because you're not expecting it from them. You're putting out feelers to see if their flags match your flags. But if they don't, because you're not expecting that they will, you don't have that same level of disappointment. You're like, all right, well, sorry, we didn't match up, on to the next.
I'm glad that you brought that up, because there is a distinction as far as dating and relationships and how expectations work in those worlds. They make so much more sense in dating. I'm absolutely with you on that. I'm absolutely with you, that Africa Buffalo. I'm with you, Bronte. I'm with you, Dash. On the lines of dating, it's different because, like you said, you're setting the parameters. You're setting the stage as far as, hey, this is where I'm accustomed. This is where I'm comfortable. If you say you like me, or if you say you want to rock with me, let's see if you can hang with these parameters and such. Like, that makes more sense to me in the dating world. Because you don't know this motherfucker from a can of paint. Ain't like you had nothing to establish you with this person in the first place. So that makes sense.
Yeah. But I feel like once you let it get to the level of you're in a relationship, then you kind of lose those expectations because you already know what you're dealing with. You know, and I feel like if you don't know, or if you're still hoping, like that's setting yourself up for disappointment. I used to do that. Like I would date I would always say I dated their potential. You know, like I could see where they could be great or where they would match up with me if this one thing tweaked. And that's setting yourself up for disappointment.
So Bronte Hamilton asked the question. She said, what about if they pretend that they will elevate with you and you find out that it's not that way and you have invested time and are being together?
That's actually exactly what I was talking about, Bronte, that whole dating potential, because it was like I knew what the flags were and I knew what I was looking for. And he was like, oh, yeah, I want to get there too. Like, but that fool he did not, wasted my time. But like, so I've learned though, like not to date what people say they're going to be or who they want to be. Like, yes, people have goals, dreams, and aspirations, but you really have to like that person for the person they are in that moment as they are, because there's a chance they won't change. And do you want to date someone with like the hopes that they make the changes they say they will when there's a chance that they might not and you could have wasted your time? Or do you want to date them making sure like you can still push someone towards the greatness that they want to achieve, but you have to be okay with that greatness not being achieved, with them being as they are in that moment? Because if not, you probably shouldn't rock with them.
Yeah, that's a fact. And once again, I hate harping on it, but it's such a great example, and I already mentioned it. You know what I mean? Even like, and this is something that lies to why I don't like playing with the worlds of expectation so much. Visiting my cousin, this is from my own cousin's mouth to his mother that transitioned. From the family saying this to he himself, you know what I mean, admitting to this in several ways. He told his mom before he transitioned, before his mom transitioned, my auntie, that, you know what I'm saying, he was going to be walking again. Now, for real, it takes an inordinate amount of strength, focus, and concentration for him to be working out of his situation. But you told your passing mom that you were going to do something, and you haven't even strived to doing it yet. So it's like the expectations I put on your own words are now founded. It's like at this point in time, I can't help but to feel some level of disappointment. And people know disappointment is one of the most disgusting things that you can feel about somebody. Disappointment is a disgusting feeling. You know what I'm saying?
Now you guys are speaking the truth. I mean, you guys are speaking the truth. I mean, I can't even argue with anything that you guys are saying. Like, I'm full agreement with y'all. That's kind of why I'm just over here sitting silent. But just to elaborate on what you are saying, the accountability to self, like that's where it all starts. Like, if you can't even hold yourself accountable, how can I hold you accountable? Or how can I even factor into anything that you're saying as being real? You know, like, you kind of, well, you are lying to me if you aren't even a man, a person of your word. And I do feel like expectations like that, that's where we get that negative connotation that you've been speaking about with expectations earlier, like, or as a whole. Because I feel like sometimes, like, people can have these goals, you know, and instead of making a goal like, yo, this is something I'm striving for or something I'm hoping to attain, we put it out and we try to make this guarantee, like, hoping like, yo, if I say it and I guarantee it, it's going to solidify that it's going to happen. Like, and more times than not, like, if you're always vocalizing what you're going to do, you're typically probably not putting in the time and effort behind the scenes to get it done. You know, like, you're vocalizing because you're hoping, like, maybe if I continue saying it, I'll be inspired by the notion to want to do it, to continue to do it, or to try to do it, as opposed to continue doing the process, or, you know, finishing the process of what I set out to do in the first place. Um,
Gosh, I feel like. Oh, sorry, go
Go
ahead.
ahead. Go ahead.
I was gonna say, I feel like you can support someone through stuff without, I think, like, having an expectation on them, because I think, for me anyways, when I think expectation, to me that's the breeding ground of disappointment, right? So, like, let's say, okay, Dash, you are working on building up your catering business, and you're working hard towards that goal. If I were to be like, oh my gosh, I love Dash so much, but he works so hard. He's always working, but I know that eventually he's going to slow down. So I'm going to stay in this relationship. Even though how much he works, I hate it. I'm going to stay in this with the expectation that when he reaches that level of what he thinks is success, he's going to stop working. Like, now I have that expectation, which may or may not happen, which will lead me to disappointment, because I think that you're going to fulfill this thing that you may not ever fill, because how do you really? Versus, like, on the opposite side of you having a dream and me being like, oh, he's wonderful as is, I hope he makes his dreams, I'll support his dreams, but either way he's wonderful. Like, that's totally different than having expectations of you.
Yeah, but I feel like all that sounds with communication too. Like, I feel like it's okay to have expectations, but I feel like with expectations, you also had a communication, or you had to have a communication. Like, if I'm making expectations and I'm setting fantasies and goals and realities without discussing it with other parties who supposedly is involved, and I'm not really setting myself up for success. Like, how can I really expect for something to happen if I'm not even, you know, notifying all parties involved? Like, if it's just involving me, like, yeah, I can keep that to myself. But if it's involving more than one person, that I feel like that conversation needs to be had. Like, and with business, I don't know. Like, I don't know if, like, other people do this, but I kind of, like, internalize it as, like, each goal is another step. So with each goal I hit, I have, like, a list of steps that I want to attain next, you know. And, like, if you're my mate, like, you're going to see that or pick up on that, or I'm going to share that with you, because a part of getting to know me is a part of getting to know how I tick, how my mind works. So you're going to understand, like, what I'm looking for out of business, or what I'm purposely looking for, because it might not just be just to have the best restaurant. It might be to have a chain of restaurants, and from that chain that span from that, or whatever the case may be. But you being my source and my go-to person, my person as a whole, like, you'll be privy to information I wouldn't share, and you'll honestly pick up on things that, even if I don't vocalize it, you'll be able to see in real time action by just day-to-day actions of how my interactions are with you, or just seeing it, you know, like, like, well, I'm sure for both of y'all, like, if y'all African butterfly, I don't know if you're dating or somebody right now, but Like if you are, like I'm sure if when you have conversations with him and Jetty, I'm sure when you have a conversation with your baby, they see how busy you guys are when you're doing your different activities, so they know how important it is by the time you put into it, you know.
But I feel like you need to be with someone, and it's not even so much like it is dating, but also even work. I think when you put yourself, like when you have the expectations that people are going to follow through or do things the way you would do them, or just because they say something's going to happen, it's going to happen. That's how you like. I am pleasantly surprised when people follow through on their word. I hope they'll follow through on their word, but I make sure I'm good either way. If I can, I make sure I'm good either way, whether it's with a relationship or whether it's with work stuff. I'm good either way. So that way, if it doesn't follow through, I'm all right. So like when you talk about even like the dating, like yes, that communication is important. But that's why what Bronte was saying, knowing your red and green flags and, you know, your yellow flags, since we're talking flags, knowing what's important to you. Because if you know that someone being a workaholic is a red flag for you and you start dating this person trying to build up their entrepreneur or their, you know, empire or whatever, and they're saying, oh yeah, babe, once I get there, you know, I'll slow down. You're really putting the expectation that they will, and they probably won't. Versus if someone like me, like I'm busy all the time, so I'm good with people being busy all the time. So it's not a huge deal for me if the person is or not. But you have to know what's a big deal for you, and it might be different for other people. That way you know what is you either having that hope and pumping them up that they'll change, or whether it's you having that expectation without seeing that. Aha, I think that's what it is. Expectation comes when you don't see the evidence of what they're going to do. You're just putting that hope out there.
I need,
I can rock with that.
I need to add something. And this is another reason why I don't like mixing the word expectation with the worlds of love. I look at it like business, right? So working at the Home Depot, I'll give you two examples. One example regarding myself for whatever reasons, and another example regarding another person that used to work at Home Depot. I look at it like this, right? When you sign the contract to go to any job, you sign terms and conditions. They have a list of expectations that's expected from you when you sign the dotted line. If you do not meet those expectations, what happens? You get fired. There isn't a place in time in which they will keep you along for them to continuously be disappointed over and over and over, unless they're keeping you there for another reason. There was a dude that was working at the Home Depot that he didn't work like that. He didn't work like that. He will come and clock in and he will go disappear for 2-3 hours before he even get back on the floor and shit. But because it was post-COVID, and because this was a time where, you know what I mean, they were looking for workers, they didn't immediately fire him. But you should hear the way that they talked about him. They drug his name through the dirt. So I say this to say that when it comes to the world's expectation, it's so closely regarded to business. To me, it's like, look, when you don't follow expectations, only two things that comes with this shit. You're going to get fired because we don't have time for disappointments. Disappointments mean I'm going to lose money. Or I'm going to keep you on for the little that you do, but you're going to lose respect. So now you're in a situation where you ain't got no respect and you're just there to be used.
Oh, really quick, Jetty, since you mentioned respect and loyalty, because that's where you guys started off, right, with your conversation about respect versus loyalty. I find your view on loyalty very interesting, and I was wondering if you could clarify a little bit more where you think, like, I guess if there was a hierarchy of like closeness to people, because like what I was saying in my comment where I said I don't respect or I'm not loyal to anyone I don't respect. So to me, respect is a step lower than loyalty. Mm-hmm. But like where is it in for you? Because it seems like it's not as deep.
So to me, loyalty is a higher rank, but it's one of those dangerous higher ranks. I understand where you're coming from when you say it's a step higher, but I look at it like this. Think about any gang that you could ever think about, from the Cops to Capitol Hill to Bloods to Crips to whatever. Think about gangs. Think about what a gang is. Not everybody in the gang sees eye to eye. You might have somebody in the gang you don't even really fuck with, but you still betrothed to that person because of the shit that y'all waving. So you don't fuck with this person. You might know this person be doing some foul shit to their family. But because y'all throw the same flag, y'all loyal to each other.
But then don't you have respect for them?
I don't think so. I think you have respect for the flag more than you have respect for the person, because you wanted to go to war over the flag regarding this person. So it's like you would hear things like, actually, you know what? A perfect scene comes from Drumline when, I know it's funny, right? But when Nick Cannon, he lost his cool during homecoming, and he did something that started a feud, and then the whole big ass fight broke out. And when after the scene was done, he was walking. There was these two other drumline members that they were talking. Nick Cannon walked up to the one dude. He said, "Yo, I see you throw a fist for me, yo. That's respect. You have my back." And homeboy looked at Nick Cannon and said, "Yo, man, get out of my face, man. I threw for AMT. That's what loyalty is to me." So in that
But that's
situation,
loyalty
it looked
to
like he had Nick Cannon's back. He had Nick Cannon's back. He did that so that the school could save face. He ain't do that because he was looking out for Nick Cannon.
But I feel like in that situation, that's loyalty to a cause, not a person. Like, I don't think like in that situation, Nick Cannon would be like, oh, they're loyal to me, because obviously they're not. Loyalty to a person versus loyalty to a cause is different.
That's
You know, like how you interact with someone who you're actually loyal to as a person. I feel like to me that's your ride or die. You're there with them. And because for me, loyalty also includes that respect. That also means that I'm going to tell you when something is messed up if we're at that level, you know, because it's deeper than just like, oh, someone, like, I might respect them, but I don't fuck with them, so I don't really care what they do. It doesn't have that much of an impact on me. I may or may not say anything. If things go sideways, it is what it is. Versus someone I'm loyal to, it's deeper than that.
I dig.
Exactly.
It might be the way that we look at respect, because there's conversations I done had with people I don't fuck with, but I respect, and because I respect them, I would reach out to them and I'll give them game about something, and it's not like I be a friend, but it's because I see something about you that I respect and I acknowledge, and I'm just like, yo, I know if I give you this gem, whatever you do with it is what you do with it or whatnot, but I can see you eye to eye about this and I can give this to you, and it's just like, yeah, because I acknowledge something in you, you know what I mean? But once again, if I respect you, I have nothing to want to do with you to help to bring about your downfall or to put me in a position that's higher than yours if I respect you.
Can you think of like an example of like where loyalty to a person was crap, like that would make you think that it's less than? Do you know what I mean? Like what, like, because like your examples are good examples, but those are loyalty to a cause, so that makes sense.
Yeah.
Why in that situation respect would trump loyalty.
Yeah.
But if it's for loyalty to a person,
I don't know if this would be a good example, but I do know that in one of my past relationships that failed miserably, that I had this wonky ass thought that if I didn't do everything in my power to make it work, that it failing was going to be on me. So I went to the ends, to my own, you know what I'm saying, detriment as far as my mental health and even my own mental stability and who I am. Like, shit was really in shatters and in tatters and whatnot, just because in my head I was like, hey man, if you want to fight for something, hey man, like if she throws this at you, hey man, if this, you gotta hang in there, you gotta, you know what I mean? So I intentionally saw things that put at jeopardy my sense of self, my sense of worth, my sense of self-respect. I put it to the side because I wanted to make something work between us. I'm not sure if that is an example that resonates.
I mean, it kind of is, but I feel like you were bad loyal, right, in that situation. So like imagine if that had been returned. Like, to me, that's why loyalty trumps respect, because like you knowing how you felt about that person, what you would do for that person, all of that. Imagine if she had poured that same energy into you.
Then it would be beautiful, and if it came from a genuine place, I would have no reason for me to think elsewise. So that's the only thing I can say. I gotta keep it at that, because if I don't have any other information regarding any ulterior motives or any adjacent, you know, or nuanced thought lines, then at the surface it looks like what you would hope for it to be. So in that case, hey.
You know what? I'm just naive as fuck. That's my problem. I just think everyone's coming from a good place and everyone means what they say, and until they mess it up, I take people at face value. So
But that's a good
that's
thing.
part of my problem. That's my own personal problem I have to deal with.
That's a good thing. Don't lose that. You know, we actually need more of that.
So Bronte Hamilton said, that's like how I am with my family. I'm loyal to them. However, I don't respect them in the sense of I don't agree with how they sweep things under the rug, and then some decisions, boundaries with people, and if they respect them or not is where they sit on the respect thing. And my loyalty is if I need them or they need me, we are there. Same, girl, same.
Yeah. And that's where I kind of fall in line because I'm kind of with Neymade where I'm just like the loyalty for me going to supersede the respect only because as we all done said, like I done had conversations with people I respect, but I don't have relationships with, or I can give two F's about, you know. But like for me to be loyal to you, that means I took the time to like invite you into my life, like and open up my arms to you in a way, like that allow you in my circle to fully get to know me. So like for you to cross me, that means like we done shed some tears, you know, or we done shed some blood together. We done had some laughs. We done had moments in time to like cement this relationship, and for you to still decide like, yo, I'm going to do whatever to my detriment. That's more of a slap in the face to me than anything, because it's just like giving the respect. Like the respect should have already been there. Like if we loyal to each other, it's just like I gave you my respect and my love, like, and that still wasn't enough. You're supposed to be my bro, my sis, my whatever, you know, like.
That's respectful. So we coming up on the hour mark right now. We on 62 right now. So before we wrap up, before anything, Neymade, aka that African butterfly, thank you. Even though you didn't grace us with your face. Thank you so much for joining us. Thank you for your insight. Thank you for challenging us on this issue and joining us here. But you know what time it is. You know what we got to do every time we about to wrap this up. We got one lasting word that we'd like to leave on the table. So before you're out of here, Neymade, could you please let us know one thing that you know in your heart of hearts to be pertinent to this conversation before we're out of here?
Whew. I don't know. I feel like I usually have something ready to say, but I don't today. So I guess I would just say respect yourself.
Respect us, sir! Respect us, sir!
RESPECT. Find out what it means to me.
Just got hyped. She just talked to my librarian just now. That was great. How about you, Dash?
I guess I'm gonna take you guys' advice, and I'm gonna have my lasting words be fuck expectations. You know. Jetty.
Oh, get yourself a smoothie from Fly 'em Out Dash. That's gonna be my last word. Delicious. When the next time I'm in the city and I'm able to get my hands on one, I'm gonna get my hands on one. So get yourself a smoothie, and maybe you won't have time to have expectations in your life about fuck shit, or you won't even have time for you to be dealing with bullshit up in your cipher because it's gonna be too busy enjoying some delicious smoothies from Fly 'em Out Catering.
Wearing a stylish dad hat, you know, because I need one of them too. But definitely digging the rolls up on it. You know?
I appreciate that. Appreciate that. We gonna keep things on the low. They gonna be out, but not yet. Keeping things limited, real limited. But when they come out, just know it's gonna be limited editions. But until then, Neymade, thank you once again. We appreciate you. We love you. Thank you so much for your time and your energy.
Thanks, guys. You're the best.
Appreciate that. Well, as everybody in the comment section, thank y'all so much for your time, your energy, your insight. Ms. Bronte Hamilton, much love to you. I go by the name of Jetty H-Chack. It's my brother Dash. You know what I'm saying? Sunday, 7
vibes. Maybe.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Sunday, 7 p.m., same time, same place. Anything that you'd like to say before we out of here, bro?
Stay groovy, stay safe, put the guns down, you know, and more love, you know. Like my man Diddy says, spread love. That's the Philadelphia way.
Right on. You know what I'm saying? We gonna talk to y'all, man. We out. Peace.